Picture the moment the messenger arrives breathless. Lazarus is dead, your friend, the one you loved, gone, and when Jesus receives this news, he does not rush. He waits. 2 full days he waits while Mary and Martha weep, while their brother lies cold in a tomb, while everyone who trusted him wonders where he is. And then when he finally arrives in Bethany, when he sees Mary collapse at his feet in grief, something happens that the Bible records in just 2 words. 2 words that have confused theologians for 2,000 years. Jesus wept, the shortest verse in Scripture, the most misunderstood moment in the entire gospel narrative. Every pastor, every Sunday school teacher, every biblical commentary will tell you the same thing. Jesus wept because he felt compassion. He wept because he loved Lazarus. He wept because he shared in human sorrow. But if that were true, why did he wait 2 days? Why did he let Lazarus die when he could have prevented it? Why did he tell his disciples that this sickness would not end in death, and then let death happen anyway? The traditional explanation does not add up. And tonight you are going to learn what was really happening in that moment, because those tears were not grief, they were preparation. Jesus was not crying because Lazarus was dead. He was releasing something from his physical body that had to be cleared before he could channel the level of divine power required to reverse death itself. If something pulled you to this video right now, comment the words "I am ready to understand." This is not just engagement. This is your declaration that you are prepared to receive what has been hidden in plain sight for 2 millennia. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because what you learn tonight will change how you read every miracle in Scripture. The tears Jesus shed were not emotional, they were alchemical. And understanding what they released will show you exactly what your own emotional releases are preparing your body to do. To understand what happened at the tomb of Lazarus, you must first understand what Jesus actually was, not what the church told you, not the sanitized version designed to keep you dependent on institutional salvation. The real Jesus, the historical Yeshua who walked the roads of Galilee teaching a hidden technology of consciousness that threatened every power structure of his time. The Gospel of Thomas, discovered in Egypt in 1945, preserves sayings of Jesus that never made it into your Bible. And in saying number 70, Jesus says something that should fundamentally alter your understanding of what he came to do. He says, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." This is not religion, this is physics. This is the science of how divine power moves through human biology. And the key word is bring forth, not pray for, not hope for, not wait for an external God to deliver. Bring forth from within. Jesus understood something that modern medicine is only beginning to glimpse. Your body stores everything, every trauma, every suppressed emotion. Every moment of grief, rage, terror, or shame that you did not fully process gets locked into your tissues, into your fascia, into your cellular memory. And this stored emotional density does not just sit there passively. It blocks the flow of life force through your system. It creates interference in the channel between your human form and the divine source that animates it. The ancient mystics had a word for this life force. The Chinese called it Kai. The Hindus called it prana. The Kabbalists called it Ruach, and Jesus, speaking Aramaic, would have called it Rucha, the breath of God, the animating spirit that separates living flesh from dead matter. When your body is clogged with unprocessed emotion, Rucha cannot flow at full capacity. You are still alive, still breathing, still functional, but you are operating at a fraction of your potential. You are a lamp covered by layers of dust. The light is still there, but it cannot shine through. This is why Jesus wept. Not because he was sad, but because he was about to attempt something that required every channel in his body to be completely clear. He was about to call a dead man back from the other side of the veil. He was about to reverse the one process that every human being accepts as inevitable. And to do that, he needed his physical vessel to be an unobstructed conduit for divine power. So he wept, deliberately, consciously, strategically. He allowed the grief he carried, not just for Lazarus but for all of suffering humanity, to move up from where it was stored and out through his tear ducts. He purged the emotional blockage. He cleared the channel, and only then, only after the tears had done their work, did he approach the tomb and speak the words that shattered the boundary between life and death. "Lazarus, come forth. Now let me take you deeper into the mechanism." Modern research into psychoneuroimmunology, the study of how emotions affect the immune and nervous systems, has discovered something remarkable. Emotional tears, the kind you cry from sadness or overwhelming feeling, have a completely different chemical composition than reflex tears, the kind that come from chopping onions or getting dust in your eye. Emotional tears contain stress hormones, they contain toxins, they contain the biochemical byproducts of emotional pain. When you cry real tears, you are not just expressing emotion, you are physically excreting it, you are removing it from your system. Your body is detoxifying at a chemical level, but it goes even deeper than chemistry. Every emotion has a frequency. Fear vibrates at a measurable rate, grief has a signature, anger has a wavelength, and these frequencies, when held in the body without release, create interference patterns that disrupt the flow of higher frequencies trying to come through. Think of it like trying to broadcast a radio signal through static. The signal is there, the power is there, but the static, the uncleared emotional debris, distorts the transmission. When Jesus wept at the tomb, he was clearing the static. He was tuning his entire being to a single frequency, the frequency of resurrection, of life calling to life, of divine will overriding natural law. And the tears were the physical release mechanism that made the tuning possible. Now here is what the church never taught you. This was not something only Jesus could do. This clearing, this purging, this use of emotional release to prepare the body for supernatural activity, this is technology. And technology can be learned. Jesus himself said it. In the Gospel of John, just a few chapters after the Lazarus account, he tells his disciples, "Truly, truly I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do." Greater works. Not the same, greater. He was not claiming to be the only one who could access this power. He was showing you that you carry the same divine spark, the same capacity, the same potential. But that potential cannot activate while your channels are clogged. You have felt this your entire life even if you had no framework to understand it. The times when you held back tears because crying felt weak. The moments when you swallowed your anger because expressing it seemed dangerous. The years when you carried grief in silence because no one gave you permission to fall apart. Every time you suppressed instead of released, you added another layer of interference. You dimmed your own light, you blocked your own power, and the cost is not just emotional, the cost is spiritual. When your channels are blocked, you cannot receive guidance clearly. You cannot discern truth from deception. You cannot access the knowing that lives deeper than thought. You are cut off from the very source that is trying to work through you. This is why sickness follows suppression. This is why people who never cry, who pride themselves on being strong, who keep everything locked down, often develop mysterious illnesses that no doctor can explain. The body will force a release one way or another. If you will not cry, you will break down some other way. The system demands clearing. Let me show you what happened in the days before Lazarus died. Jesus was in a region called Perea across the Jordan River teaching and healing. The messenger came and said, "Lord, he whom you love is ill." And Jesus, hearing this, said something strange. He said, "This illness does not lead to death. It is for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Then he stayed 2 more days. He let his friend die. This was not cruelty. This was set up. Jesus knew exactly what was coming. He knew he was going to raise Lazarus. He knew this miracle would be unlike anything he had done before. Healing the sick is one thing, casting out demons is another. But calling a man 4 days dead, already decomposing, back into his body, that is a different magnitude entirely. And Jesus knew that to operate at that level, he would need to be completely clear. So he gave himself time to prepare, time to fast, time to pray. Time to feel everything that needed to be felt before the moment came. And when he finally arrived in Bethany and saw the morning, saw Mary weeping, saw the tomb, the final release came. He wept, and the Greek word used here is important. It is not the word for quiet tears. It is a word that implies deep shaking sobs, a full body release. This was not a polite tear rolling down his cheek. This was a purge, and the people watching, they misunderstood completely. They said, "See how he loved him." But others said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man also have kept this man from dying?" They thought the tears meant he had failed. They thought he was crying because he was too late. They had no idea they were watching a master prepare his instrument. After the tears, the text says Jesus, deeply moved again, came to the tomb. Deeply moved, the same Greek phrase used earlier. But this time it is not emotion, it is power. The channels are clear, the frequency is locked. And what happens next is not prayer in the way you were taught to pray. Jesus does not ask God to raise Lazarus. He does not beg, he does not petition. He thanks God that he has already been heard, and then he speaks directly to the dead man. He commands, "Lazarus, come forth," and the man who had been dead for 4 days walked out of that tomb. The emotional release preceded the miracle. The tears prepared the body. The clearing created the capacity. Now let me show you how this applies to you. Right now in your own life you are carrying blockages. Grief you have not cried, anger you have not expressed, fear you have not acknowledged, and these blockages are not just making you tired. They are not just causing anxiety or sadness. They are preventing you from accessing the power that is your birthright. You were designed to be a conduit for divine energy. You were built to channel healing, creativity, insight, and miraculous intervention into physical reality. But you cannot channel what you are not clear enough to hold. Think about the times in your life when breakthrough happened, when sudden clarity came, when a problem that seemed impossible suddenly resolved, when healing occurred that made no logical sense. If you look closely, you will notice a pattern. Breakthrough almost always follows release. The job offer comes right after you finally let yourself cry about the rejection. The relationship appears after you stop pretending you do not need one. The healing begins after you finally speak the trauma out loud. This is not coincidence. This is mechanism. Release creates space. Space allows flow. Flow delivers power, and power manifests as miracle. The reason you were pulled to this video tonight is because you are on the edge of something. A breakthrough is close. A shift is coming, but there is something you need to release first. Something you have been holding that is too heavy to carry into the next level. Your body knows what it is. Right now, place your hand on your chest, feel your heartbeat. That rhythm has sustained you every moment of your life, but beneath that rhythm there is something else. A weight, a tightness, a held breath. This is what needs to move. Let me teach you the practice exactly as it was done, not the sanitized church version. The real method that mystics and miracle workers have used for thousands of years. First, create space. You cannot release in the middle of distraction. You need privacy. You need time. You need permission to fall apart without anyone watching, without anyone needing you to hold it together. Turn off your phone, lock the door, sit or lie down in a place where you feel safe. This is not optional. Your nervous system will not allow deep release if it senses threat. Second, invoke the presence. You are not doing this alone. You are not generating the healing. You are allowing it. So before you begin, speak out loud, not in your head, out loud. Say, I invite the presence that raised Lazarus to move through me now. I give permission for everything that needs to leave to leave. I surrender to the clearing. These words are not magic. They are alignment. They signal to your deep mind that what is about to happen is safe, is sacred, is supported. Third, breathe into the block. Close your eyes. Bring your attention to your chest, your throat, your belly, wherever you feel the tightness. And breathe directly into that space. Not shallow breathing, deep, full breaths that expand your ribcage, that press against the places that hurt. As you breathe, you will notice resistance. Your mind will offer distractions. You will suddenly remember things you need to do. You will feel ridiculous. You will want to stop. Do not stop. Keep breathing. The resistance is the block defending itself. Fourth, let sound move. When the pressure builds, when the tears start to come, do not hold them back, and do not cry silently. Let sound come with it, sobbing, groaning, even screaming if that is what wants to emerge. Sound is frequency, and frequency breaks up stuck energy faster than anything else. This is why people feel better after a good cry. Not because crying solves the problem, but because it moves the energy. Fifth, stay with it until completion. This is where most people fail. They cry for 2 minutes, feel a little better, and stop. But real clearing requires full cycles. You will know it is complete when the crying stops on its own, when your breathing naturally slows, when a sense of peace or emptiness replaces the heaviness. That emptiness is not depression. That is space. That is capacity. That is the cleared channel. After the release, do not rush back into activity. Sit in the stillness. Drink water. Your body just purged toxins. It needs hydration, and pay attention to what happens in the next 24 to 72 hours. Dreams will be vivid. Insights will come that seem to appear from nowhere. People will say things that feel like direct answers to questions you have been holding. Opportunities will surface. Doors will open. This is not wishful thinking. This is how the mechanism works. You clear the channel and life force floods in to fill the space. The miracles you have been praying for were never being withheld. They were being blocked by what you refused to feel. Now let me tell you what the church does not want you to understand about this. If you can clear yourself, if you can release your own blocks, if you can prepare your own body to be a conduit for divine power, then you do not need them. You do not need a priest to absolve you. You do not need a pastor to pray over you. You do not need an institution to mediate your connection to Source. This is why the mystical teachings were suppressed. This is why the Gnostic texts were burned. This is why practices like this were declared heretical, because they return power to the individual, and power in the hands of individuals cannot be controlled. Jesus wept because he knew what was coming. He knew the magnitude of what he was about to do, and he knew his body had to be ready. The tears were not weakness, they were preparation. They were the physical act of clearing the channel so that life could flow through him with enough force to pull a dead man back from the other side. You are being prepared for something too. Not necessarily to raise the dead, though do not limit what is possible, but to bring forth what is within you, to manifest the gifts you carry. To step into the version of yourself that you have seen in dreams and visions but have not known how to reach. And the thing standing between you and that version is not lack of faith, it is not unworthiness, it is uncleared emotion, the grief you have not cried, the anger you have not roared, the fear you have not trembled through. These are not obstacles, they are fuel. Emotion is energy. And energy, when released, does not disappear, it transforms, it becomes available, it becomes power. Tonight, when you are alone, when the world goes quiet, you are going to cry. Not because you are sad, though sadness may come, but because you are clearing, you are preparing, you are making space for the miracle that has been waiting for you to be ready. If this teaching has landed in your spirit, if you feel the truth of it in your body, comment the words, I am clearing the channel. Let others who are on this path see your declaration and know they are not alone. Like this video so the algorithm cannot bury it. Share it with someone who needs to understand that their tears are not weakness but power in motion. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the teachings that are coming will take you even deeper into the hidden technology that Jesus used and that you were born to access. The shortest verse in Scripture, Jesus wept. 2 words that contain the secret to every miracle, not because God feels sorry for you, but because your body must be clear to hold what is coming. Now you know what those tears were preparing him to do, and now you know what your tears are preparing you to become. And as you sit with this understanding, I want you to realize something profound. Every single person in your life who has dismissed their emotions, who has been told to toughen up, to get over it, to move on, they have been receiving the opposite of what they need. They have been receiving instructions to block their own power. The entire culture is built on suppression. Men especially are taught from childhood that tears are shameful, that anger should be controlled, that fear must be hidden. And the result is a world full of people running at half capacity, channeling a fraction of their potential, unable to access the breakthroughs and healings and miracles that are their birthright. Think about the most powerful people you have ever encountered. Not famous people necessarily. I mean people who have presence, people who when they enter a room something shifts, people whose words carry weight, people who seem to move through life with ease and grace and an uncanny ability to manifest what they need. If you look at their lives, you will notice they are not the ones who were taught to suppress. They are the ones who learn to feel fully and release completely. They are the ones who gave themselves permission to be human, to be vulnerable, to let their bodies do what bodies are designed to do, which is purge what does not serve and make space for what does. This is not weakness, this is mastery, and mastery has always looked weak to the untrained eye. A master meditator looks like they are doing nothing. A master healer looks like they are just sitting with someone. A master manifester looks like they are simply going about their day. But underneath, the channels are flowing, the frequency is locked, the power is moving, and you have the capacity to be one of these people, not someday, not when conditions are perfect, now in this body, with this breath, with the tears that are waiting to be cried. The clearing work is not separate from your spiritual practice, it is the foundation of it. You cannot build a house on cracked ground. You cannot channel divine power through a body clogged with held emotion. And this is why every genuine spiritual tradition includes some form of catharsis, some deliberate practice of emotional release. The Sufi mystics use ecstatic dancing until the body is emptied. The Kundalini practitioners use shaking and sounding. The indigenous shamans use medicine and ceremony. The Christian mystics had their dark nights of the soul, different methods. Same mechanism, release the block and the power can flow. Now I want to address something that often comes up when people begin to understand this. You may have believed that spiritual advancement means becoming less emotional, more detached, more transcendent of human feeling. This is a fundamental misunderstanding that has kept people from their own power for centuries. True advancement is not detachment. It is clarity. It is moving through your emotions fully instead of around them. It is feeling everything that wants to be felt and then letting it move through you instead of getting stuck in you. The enlightened being is not the one who does not cry. It is the one who can cry completely and then rise with clear channels. The saint is not the one who never feels anger. It is the one who can acknowledge anger fully and then choose wisdom from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. This distinction changes everything. Because it means you do not have to become less human to access the divine, you have to become more human, more authentic, more willing to feel, more willing to release, more willing to let your body do its work. The miracles are not waiting for you to achieve some impossible transcendence. They are waiting for you to stop blocking yourself. They are waiting for you to give yourself permission to cry, to shake, to groan, to make sound, to let your nervous system complete the cycles of release that it has been trying to do for years. And when you do, when you finally allow that clearing to happen, something shifts not just in you but around you. People respond differently to someone whose channels are clear. You become magnetic, synchronicities increase, doors open, help arrives. Not because you are more special or more worthy, but because you are no longer broadcasting static. Your signal is clean, your frequency is coherent, and coherent frequency is what shapes reality. This is the real meaning of faith, not belief in something external, but alignment with the power that already lives within you. Jesus did not have faith in God the way we are taught. He had alignment with Source. His channels were clear, his frequency was locked. His signal was so coherent that when he spoke, reality obeyed. And he showed us that this is possible, not for him alone, for us, for you right now in this lifetime, with the body you have, with the emotions you carry, with the permission you are about to give yourself. The work is simple, but do not confuse simplicity with ease. Clearing old blockages can be intense. It can bring up things you thought you had put away. It can make you face what you have been avoiding. But on the other side of that intensity is freedom. On the other side is power. On the other side is the version of yourself that you have always known was possible. This is the invitation not to become something new, but to return to what you have always been, a channel for divine power, a conduit for healing, a source of light in a world that desperately needs it, and it all begins with one simple act: permission. Permission to feel, permission to release. Permission to let your tears do their alchemical work. The mechanism is waiting, the power is waiting, your deepest self is waiting for you to clear the way. Thank you for receiving this teaching. Thank you for letting it land in your spirit. The fact that you are still here, that you have listened this far, means something is stirring in you. Something wants to be cleared, something wants to be expressed, something wants to move through you and out into the world. Honor that, act on it, do the work tonight. And when you do, comment back and let me know. Tell me what shifted, tell me what moved, tell me what became possible when you finally gave yourself permission to cry. And subscribe so you receive the next teachings in this series, because what is coming will take you even deeper into the technology of miracles, the hidden knowledge, the real Jesus, the you that you were born to become.